interesting first half of play, to say the least. We had a 7-7 score with under 2 minutes gone by in the game. We saw a kickoff return for a touchdown. We saw an interception return for a touchdown. But by the time things came down to what we could call a more normal period of play, West Virginia did a very good job marching on Rutgers. And at times, Rutgers showed the ability to march the ball on West Virginia. Take a look at the average field position. The Mountaineers starting off from the 37-yard line, which is considered excellent. Rutgers beginning their possessions on the average from the 23-yard line. And you take a look at that average on first down, which is so important. 5.8 yards for West Virginia, 1.4 for Rutgers. John, that really sets up what you're going to do on second down and gives you the ability to do a lot more things when you can pick up 5 on your first play. Mountaineers will receive the opening kickoff here in the second half of play. Doug Geisler will kick the ball off for Rutgers. Carmen Sclafani had been kicking off, but now they'll put Geisler into the lineup for Rutgers. At one point, West Virginia trailed this game 10-7, but they came right back and have taken a 21-10 lead. And it will be Jamie Lamont starting off from the 15-yard line, the senior from Washington, Pennsylvania, over the 25-yard line, and West Virginia will start at first down and 10 from just over the 25. Joe Altamar makes the stop there on number 15, Jamie Lamont, handling the kickoff returns for the Mountaineers. He's the number 2 man at the split end position, comes into the ball game with 14 catches. So Major and company will have a good first down and 10 situation here as they started off from the 28-yard line. Major 4 of 8 in the first half. That included 1 touchdown pass. And the give goes to A.B. Brown with a big hole, first down, West Virginia, as he works the ball down to the 45-yard line. Vaughn McCoy and Glenn Miller make the stop on Anthony Brown. A 17-yard pickup for A.B. Brown. A.B. with 51 yards in the first half of play. That brings him up to 68 yards on 15 carries. And Major Harris tripping there as he starts back. Harris with plenty of time has Calvin Phillips. Picks up a couple on the play. That's Calvin's first reception of the afternoon. Mike Conlon, number 95, makes the stop there on Cal Phillips, who came into the game as the team's leading receiver with 21 catches. Picks up 4 there on the play. Phillips and Reggie Rembert have been having a friendly duel all season as to the team's pass reception lead. Phillips came in with 21, Rembert with 20, and Reggie had that touchdown catch in the first half. So Phillips now still on top by 1. Bit of a delay, and A.B. Brown trips up. Pickup of a yard on the play, and that'll bring up third down. Injured Mountaineer down on the play. And it's West Virginia center, number 57, Kevin Koken. Kevin Koken shaken up. One of the keys to the West Virginia offensive line, the senior from Youngstown, Ohio. Taking a look at the right leg of Koken. Major Harris will use the time. Talk things over with the WVU coaching staff. Number 51, Jeff Price, warming up on the sideline. He will go in for Kevin Koken. 13 minutes and 42 seconds to go. Third quarter of action just underway here in the second half. Calvin Phillips, Grannis Bell, and Reggie Rembert now coming into the lineup for West Virginia. A.B. Brown will go out. Major Harris there with head coach Don Neal. And you see next to Harris is Jeff Price, number 51. So Price will come into the game for the Mountaineers in place of Kevin Koken. A year ago, Major Harris had 304 yards of total offense against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. In the first half alone today, he rushed for 57 yards, threw for another 96. So he's got 153 yards of total offense so far here today, and continues to play extremely well in the sophomore season for the Mountaineers. And there's a look at Scott Ernie. Rutgers starting quarterback who really struggled in the first half of action. Ernie finished up 2 of 11 for just 24 yards and the 2 interceptions, one of which really came back to haunt him as Darrell Whitmore ran it in for a touchdown. Well, a good sight here as Ernie continues to warm up, and that's Kevin Koken walking off for the most part under his own power as he tests out that right leg. Big Kevin Koken, one of the nicest guys on this Mountaineer team.
If you notice there on his right leg, Tony, he had that knee brace, and that thing can prevent a very serious knee injury. Luckily, he had it on that time.
Jeff Price now the new center into the game for West Virginia, so the first couple of snaps here very important on the exchange to Harris. 2nd down and 7. Major on the roll. As his man, 1st down West Virginia, down to Calvin Phillips. Spotted at the 28-yard line. Number 41, Rusty Mays, got beat on the play as Calvin Phillips makes his 2nd catch of the half and his 2nd catch of the ball game. Tremendous season for the senior from Boynton Beach, Florida.
Craig Taylor doing a real nice job there, sealing that outside and letting Major get to the outside and get to that perimeter. Nice throw and catch.
Mountaineers began this drive back at their own 28. Now they're at the 28 of Rutgers. A.B. Brown, bit of a seam, moves it ahead to the 25-yard line. So a pickup of 2, that'll bring up 2nd down and 8. Tim Lester, number 98, makes the stop there on Brown. Mountaineers come into this one averaging 44 points per game. They put 21 on the board in the first half, and they're looking for their first score here in the second half. Rembert lining up far up top. Wynn now coming over in motion out of the I formation. And it's the fullback, Craig Taylor. Ahead for a yard, that'll be all. Chuck Paul, reserve defensive tackle, makes the stop there on Craig Taylor.
This is a big drive for West Virginia, able to come down here after halftime, settle things down, use that clock up, and put some points on the board.
3rd down and 6. West Virginia on 3rd down conversions is 5 of 7. Harris blitzes on, looking for Rembert. Oh, a beautiful defensive play there. Darren Sellers and Rusty Mays just got their hands in time as Reggie Rembert was looking for his 2nd touchdown catch of the ball game. Nice throw, but a good defensive job there by Sellers and Mays.
Notice number 79, Doug Kokoski, coming in your picture there with a linebacker blitz. Watch Reggie. He's able to take a hit. He gets one right here in the soup coolers.
Field goal attempt now for the Mountaineers. A 41-yard attempt. Bauman 0 for 2 this afternoon. A 41-yarder this time is no good. Off to the right. And Charlie Bauman is having his worst field goal kicking day as a Mountaineer. Coming into this one, he had missed 3 all season in 20 attempts. And now he's 0 for 3 here today. So West Virginia drives but does not come away with points. Rutgers will take over, 1st down and 10 from the 24-yard line. Scott Ernie looking to get himself warmed up after a 2 of 11 first half. Ernie on the roll, Turnbull in pursuit. And Elvoyd Mays on the coverage of Brett Marsola. So Rutgers comes out firing. That'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Outside linebacker Ronaldo Turnbull doing a good job there pressuring Ernie, John.
That's right. His job is not to let Ernie get outside and put the D-backs in a position where they have to come up and make the play on the run. He did a great job that time.
Elvoyd Mays and Willie Edwards on the corners for West Virginia. The free safety is Darrell Whitmore, and Bo Orlando the strong safety. On 2nd down and 10, Turnbull again. James Cann on the reception. He's got room. And Cann initially hit there by Willie Edwards and brought down by Chris Herring. That's good for a first down for the Scarlet Knights. And they'll spot the ball ahead to the 36-yard line, 37.
It's a real nice play selection by Dick Anderson, a throwback screen. Pretty good read by Robert Pickett on that thing. Just couldn't make the tackle.
Nice job there by Willie Edwards. Didn't bite on the fakes of James Cann. Makes the initial hit. So the Scarlet Knights with their first down of the half, and Ernie again looks to throw. And we'll have a penalty on this one as Tyrone McQueen, the intended receiver, was dragged down by Elvoyd Mays. Pass interference is the call against the Mountaineers.
The Mountaineer fans thinking that's a questionable call with the strip.
That'll bring up a first down here for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Let's take another look.
You see Ronaldo Turnbull get knocked off his feet there. That enabled Ernie to get outside and have the ability to throw that ball.
Tough one to call there.
Yeah, it's questionable.
Bang, bang play. Nonetheless, Rutgers has the ball down to the 48-yard line, looking to bring it into West Virginia territory on first down. Eric Young in motion. And they keep it on the ground to Body. And Bo Orlando comes up to make the stop behind the line of scrimmage. Number 22, Bo Orlando, the senior out of Berwick, Pennsylvania.
The big play guy, Bo Orlando, back here near his hometown in Berwick, Pennsylvania, just a few short hours from here.
Good job by Bo Orlando as he drags down Mike Body. 2-yard loss on the play. Under 11 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Rutgers' first possession of the second half. Ernie across the middle has his tight end, James Jenkins. Down to the 30-yard line. First down for the Scarlet Knights. Darrell Whitmore and Willie Edwards on the stop as James Jenkins comes up with his 10th catch of the season. A 24-yard pickup for James Jenkins.
Again, the West Virginia coaching staff very concerned about number 82, James Jenkins, and his ability, his athletic ability, being able to run and block like he can. There it was a throwback with Mr. Jenkins just running a little hook pattern underneath.
Jenkins apparently injured his knee on the play. He was never hit as he went down and was down because of his knee touching the ground, but he's shaken up, and you see him there at the 35-yard line with the knee. There's a look at Kevin Koken. He has sprained his knee, and he will not return to action this afternoon. Senior out of Youngstown, Ohio, obviously very disappointed. And hopefully, John, that is just a minor sprain for Kevin Koken.
This is where that depth pays off, Tony. Number 51, Jeff Price, has played a lot of football all year, about every third series. And that was Coach Nealon's intentions of rotating those people every third series, just for opportunities like this.
First down and 10. The Scarlet Knights with the ball on the West Virginia 29. Ernie to Body. He's in trouble. Loses the ball and picks it back up. Up towards the 25-yard line. Bo Orlando makes the stop. Darrell Whitmore slow to get up on the play. He is limping.
Big Pat Marlette, number 95, just backed his defensive tackle up and made a big clog in that play. Body was awful lucky. That ball dropped, taking that bounce right back into his hands.
Whitmore injures himself on the play, and Zippy Shear will come in to play free safety. Second down and 7 for the Knights. West Virginia showing pressure. Body makes the catch. Bo Orlando there to make the hit. Ernie now seeming to become more comfortable with his throwing. 5 of 15. Started off the second half 2 of 11.
What we're seeing, Tony, is a very controlled passing game. I mean, they're going to keep you off balance. They'll slip a run in there every once in a while. Very short. Let's do what Ernie does best, and that's show those little 10 and 15-yard patterns.
Big third down play here. Third down and 3. Ernie has the pass deflected. So West Virginia holds on third down, and now it's up to Dick Anderson, and he'll send the field goal unit out. Ronaldo Turnbull, number 87, getting his hand on the ball here, as he has all season long. That's his third pass deflection, but Turnbull has become a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. They'll spot the ball on the 30-yard line. This will be a 40-yard attempt for Cameron Sclafani. Definitely within his range. The kick, though, just sneaks in there. It was short, but it just crossed over the bar. Rutgers comes back to get 3, 21-13 here in the third quarter of play. Well, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights come away with a 40-yard field goal to draw first blood here in the second half of action. 21-13, the Mountaineers still holding on to the lead. 8 plays in the drive for Rutgers, covering 53 yards, and Sclafani kicks the field goal. Speaking of field goals, it's been a terribly disappointing day for Charlie Bauman of West Virginia. He's missed field goals of 41, 43, and 44. In fact, he missed a field goal here in the second half of play. And West Virginia had the chance to score first, but Bauman's kick off again, and Rutgers came back and got a field goal of their own. So it's 21-13 as Giesler puts his foot in the ball, and Eugene Napoleon is back deep to return for the Mountaineers. This is Napoleon from the 8-yard line. The wall is set. Napoleon spins ahead just over the 30-yard line. First down and 10 for the Mountaineers, and on comes Major Harris and the crew. And John, the latest in nose warmers on display here at Giant Stadium today. Fans, don't forget that Mountaineer basketball season coming up quickly on the 26th of November. That's the first home game. Season tickets on sale now for all 14 home games. Be a part of the Mountaineer team spirit. Contact the Mountaineer ticket office for more information. Harris on the option. First down. He's got a seam, and here comes the Major. Down to the 45-yard line. First down for the West Virginia Mountaineers as Rusty Mays upends Major Harris.
We haven't seen too much of the base option today. That time Major Harris spreads that defense out, finds a seam, gets up the field.
15 more yards for Major Harris. He's got 72 now on 6 carries. So Harris with a 12-yard average when he keeps the ball here today. Reggie Rembert lines up out to the left. Kelvin Phillips to the near side. On first down and 10, it's A.B. Brown. And Brown spins ahead over midfield, and he's into Rutgers territory as Pat Udovich, the inside linebacker, comes over to make the stop. 8 minutes and 20 seconds remain here in the third quarter of play. A.B. Brown picks up 4 more yards there, now has 72 on the afternoon. Brown closing in on a 100-yard afternoon. It would be his 5th of the season.
A.B. the type runner that at the end of the game you say, man, I didn't know he had 100 yards. He just grinds it out very slow and surely.
Here comes A.B. once again, and another 5 more for Anthony Brown. Chuck Paw and Pat Udovich make the stop on A.B. I said this would be his 5th 100-yard game. It would be his 4th. He had 103 yards against Penn State, 110 back against the Pittsburgh Panthers, and 191 against Virginia Tech. A week ago, he had 70 yards against Cincinnati. On the carry, West Virginia 1 yard short of the first down, a third down situation for the Mountaineers. And again, it's Brown. Brown, first down, spinning ahead, and they'll mark him down at the 27-yard line. Darren Sellis finally came up to make the stop, but Anthony Brown with a big burst up the middle. 18 yards for Anthony Brown. Good blocking here, John.
A sprint draw, and A.B.'s ability to utilize that cutback and see that seam. Boy, he almost loses the handle here momentarily.
He's had a problem with fumbles, but held on to it there. Nice block on that last play by left tackle Rick Phillips. Broke the hole open for A.B. Brown. First down for the Mountaineers from the 27-yard line, and it's the fullback Craig Taylor pushing ahead. Down at the 23. Pat Udovich again inside to make the stop.
A real nice job that time by number 55, Bob Kovach, on the fold block, pulling around there and coming up like a big old train and clearing things out.
Keith Wynn in at the tight end. Jamie Lamont and Renji Rembert are the receivers as the Mountaineer tries to fire things up in the stands. Here's the Major on second down. Pressure is on. Wynn with the reception down to the 15-yard line. First down for the Mountaineers. Darren Sellis makes the stop on Keith Wynn. A 9-yard pickup, the second reception of the ball game for Wynn.
Defensively, that thing was played pretty well by the Rutgers defense. I mean, they had contained, had people in good positions there. Major just gets the ball there.
2 catches going for 28 yards for Keith Wynn, who takes a big pop but holds on there. Ball spotted at the 14-yard line. And Craig Taylor going in motion, and West Virginia will march back 5 yards on the motion penalty. It's been that kind of an afternoon, John. You know, West Virginia brings it down to the 1-yard line. Ball is fumbled. Charlie Bauman misses 3 field goals. Motion penalties, things like that. They just haven't been 100% on track.
That's right. And when this team goes to a bowl game, if you're not on track and you're not at your best, you could be in for a long afternoon. You can make those mistakes against a Rutgers.
First down and 15. Harris into the end zone for Phillips. Just overthrown. Vaughn McCoy was back there on Kel Phillips as Major Harris went for it all to Kelvin Phillips. That'll bring up second down and 15. Mountaineers can ill afford not to score on this drive, John. Some points here would definitely take the wind out of the sails of the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Conversely, if they can hold West Virginia here, they say, hey,
we're still in this ball game.
We're only 8 points away from the lead. Second down at 15. Single man in the backfield is Craig Taylor. Harris. Major down to the 15-yard line. Glenn Miller chopping down Major Harris. That'll bring up third down and long. 4-yard pickup on the play.
Major is really something special here. This is a designated quarterback draw. As you notice, number 51, Jeff Price, was already down the field. If that would have been Major Harris scrambling on his own, Jeff would have been staying on that line of scrimmage.
Mountaineers will take a timeout with 5 minutes and 10 seconds to go here in the third quarter of action. West Virginia leading at 21-13, and they'll be faced by a third down and 10 when we return. 21-13. Well, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights have their biggest defensive play coming up. Third down and 11. They trail the ball game by 8. And here comes Major Harris. Harris looks for the first down. He's got it. Short of the goal line, but he's got the first down. Beautiful play by Major Harris, who's been able to run well all afternoon off of the option look.
When it's 3rd and 11, what do? You give the ball to Major Harris, your big play guy. He'll get the job done. There's no doubt about that.
The Mountaineers needed to get it inside the 3-yard line for a first down, and they'll spot it at the half-yard line. This is the second time today that they've had the ball that close to the goal line. The last time they were fumbling into the goal line and never came away with the points. This time, nothing yet, but Taylor gets it in on a tremendous second effort. Watch number 79, Kokowski. He makes the initial hit, and just a tremendous effort by Craig Taylor. Well, if I can't get in that door, let me try the back entrance. Touchdown number 7 of the season for Craig Taylor. Charlie Bauman with the extra point attempt. It is good, and West Virginia has taken a 28, make it 27, 28-13 lead. 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go here in the third quarter of action. Don't go away. With 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go here in the third quarter of play as Craig Taylor pounded one in there, John Garcia. Just a tremendous effort as the Linden, New Jersey native comes home and bangs one in.
Super job by Craig Taylor on the second effort. His ability to jump up over the pile, coming down, landing on his feet, reversing, and getting that ball in the end zone.
4 minutes and 23 seconds on that drive for West Virginia. Rutgers came away with a field goal on their first possession here in the second half.
That touchdown certainly made Mountaineer fans breathe a little bit easier, relax a little bit, and enjoy the football game.
Ron Allen and James Cann back deep to return for Rutgers. And Charlie Bauman will kick it off. Mountaineers have racked up 391 yards in total offense so far on the season. They're averaging 495 yards a game. Poor kickoff here by Bauman, but it is bobbled. Ball is loose, and Rutgers gets back on top of it. Lonnie Brockman down there for West Virginia, but Rutgers comes away with the football.
Now that was a funny play. It looks like they were saying, well, I don't want it, you take it. Things are getting too hot in here.
Ron Allen, number 18, a guy who started this game off for Rutgers with a 92-yard touchdown return, was the guy that comes up with the loose ball here. Watch him, number 18, Allen, holds off Steve Grant there and pounces back on top of it. Scarlet Knights showing three receivers off to the left. Ernie has his man Mersola, but he cannot hold on. Robert Pickett and Chris Herring back on the coverage for West Virginia. Well thrown ball by Ernie, but Mersola could not hold it. That's the fourth drop of the game for Rutgers. So besides Ernie, it's the receivers of Rutgers that are having their problems.
Number 73, Scott Summons, just did an outstanding job. He kept fighting out all the way to the outside and preventing that quarterback to get to the perimeter.
Second down and 10. Scarlet Knights go to James Cann, and he is met hard by number 94, Chris Parker. Check that. That was Skip Fuller, number 84. There's Skippy, another of the New Jersey players on the West Virginia side. And Skip made a heck of a play right there. Give him 2 yards on the play, and that'll bring up third down and 8. Rutgers, who came into the game with an average of over 200 yards passing with just 95 so far. On third down, Ernie on the dump pass has it intercepted by THERON ELLIS. The third interception of the ball game thrown by Scott Ernie, the first interception of the season for number 66, THERON ELLIS. Several times this season, John Garcia, he's had balls hit him right in the chest, but he was unable to hold on. But there, he makes the clean pickoff of Ernie's pass.
West Virginia in a man coverage underneath. THERON has body man-to-man. He sat in there, played that thing to perfection.
West Virginia will start it off first down and 10 from the 31-yard line. Mountaineers with a 15-point lead, looking for more. Craig Taylor down to the 25-yard line. Flag comes down, and we're going to get a face mask penalty against Rutgers. Number 98, Tim Lester, made the stop, and he probably got the hand up there on the head of Craig Taylor. Taylor does not know the word stoppage of play, apparently.
He's a horse in there, there's no doubt about it.
5 yards on the penalty. So West Virginia will have it at the Rutgers 20. Craig now with 35 yards on 10 carries and the touchdown. On first down and 10, Rembert and Kelvin Phillips are the receivers. On the option, Harris thrown back behind the line of scrimmage. Good job that time by the Scarlet Knights to hold back Major Harris. Carter Giles, number 96, the nose guard, there to make the stop, a 2-yard loss. That'll bring up 2nd down and 12. Watch 96 on play. Carter lateral drive, huh, John?
Yeah, he did a real good job getting across the line of scrimmage and keeping flat. Don't get upfield. Keep flat on that line of scrimmage and chase that ball carrier down.
Adrian Moss in as the West Virginia tight end. 2nd down and 12. Watch it from the side. Here comes Sellis. And Harris does a good job just to keep that ball held on. Darren Sellis came on a cornerback blitz.
I think everybody in the stadium wanted to say, look out, Major, he's coming behind you. That thing took so long to get there. A good job by Major holding on to that football. I mean, that's a heck of a feeling. You have no sense that that guy's even behind you. That shows Major's strength there, his ability to hold on to that ball.
3rd down and 22. Let's see if the Major can perform another piece of magic here. Going for it all. Has the ball nearly picked off there. Number 41, Rusty Mays, makes his 2nd pass deflection of the 2nd half. If you'll remember, it was Mays that tipped the ball intended for Rembert. And now Mays gets in there on the pass attempt for Calvin Phillips. That'll bring up 4th down, and West Virginia's punt team comes on. Lance Carrion has kicked the ball once, a 39-yarder. Vaughn McCoy is back deep for the return for Rutgers. And Carrion's coffin corner kick be knocked into the end zone, and they'll call it a touchback. West Virginia players contending that it was pushed in by Rutgers. But official Gene Steratore says nope, touchback. West Virginia will hang on defense, and they'll start it off from the 20-yard line. Rutgers 1st and 10 from the 20. Rushing yards, West Virginia 256 so far in the ball game. They come in averaging 291 yards on the ground, so they're on mark to hit their average again here today.
Obviously, Tony, that Charlie Bonneman's lack of success today affected Coach Nillen's decision on that not to kick the field goal and go ahead and try to punt it in the corner.
Scott Ernie, 5 of 18. His team down by 15 points. He'll go to the air once again, and here come the Mountaineers. Chris Parker leads the parade. Jim Gray also in on the hit as Scott Ernie is sacked back at the 11-yard line. A 9-yard loss on the sack by West Virginia. And John, they've had a great season of sacks as far as the Mountaineers go.
Big Chris Parker coming in with a great pass rush. He just about swallows Ernie there. West Virginia with 37 sacks this year. Ronaldo Turnbull with 11. Closing in on Steve Hathaway's record of 15 in one season.
Well, the Mountaineers know Rutgers will be passing here. 2nd down and 19, or will they? Body. Pickett after him, and Pickett has got him. Down to the 12-yard line. Pickett read the play. A 1-yard pickup as Robert Pickett spins down Mike Body.
That was very nicely played by Robert Pickett. I mean, you can't play this thing any better. Sit in there. Don't let that ball outside your defense. Don't let this kid get outside. And just brings him down.
That shows the strength of Robert Pickett. Be able to two-hand Mike Body down.
Like a rag doll there.
So when you say you think they're going to pass, they run it. Well, let's see what they do here. 3rd and 17. They'll go to the air. The pressure on again. And here's the screen. Body brought down beautifully by Bo Orlando. A bodacious hit by Bo Orlando. And that'll force Rutgers into a punt. It's 4th down and 17.
The Bo is back. What a beautiful read on that screen play.
Those are the kind you dream about at night. 3rd quarter of play has come to an end. West Virginia with a 15-point lead, 28 to the goal line of Rutgers. Rennis Bell back deep to return, standing at midfield. Here come the Mountaineers. A high punt. Bell will call for the fair catch. And West Virginia will start it off at the 43-yard line in Rutgers territory. So great field possession starting off the fourth quarter for the Mountaineers, who lead it 28-13. John, we should compliment the Mountaineer defense. Coming into the ball game, there were some questions about them based upon the performance a week ago at Cincinnati. But so far today, they have held Rutgers to 3 plays and a punt on 7 different occasions. So they've done the job when they've had to.
And we got to thank Mr. Can for adding a little fuel to the fire with his comments.
First down and 10. Major on the option. Looking for something special, and Major Harris is dropped behind the line of scrimmage by George Bankos, number 71, defensive tackle for Rutgers.
You know, you talked about the Rutgers offense, Tony, and when they run, they pass, and when you think they're going to pass, they run. That's exactly what Coach Krlavich, the outside linebacker, told me, the coach last night, that, hey, they have no definite tendencies. You can't pin anything down on them as far as 1st and 10 and 2nd and short and that sort of thing.
Good to see the Beast of the East in the stands here this afternoon at the Meadowlands in New Jersey. And for all of you Mountaineer fans watching in on WTRF in Wheeling, this bud's for you. 14 minutes and 42 seconds to go. We've got an injured Rutgers player down on the play. Mike Conlin, outside linebacker. Take a look at the numbers through the first 3 quarters. West Virginia racking up 386 yards of total offense, 153 for the Scarlet Knights. Rutgers known as a passing team with just 64 yards through the air so far. 1-yard loss on that Major Harris throwback, and it's 2nd down and 11 as Rembert comes in motion. The delay goes to A.B. Brown, looking for a hole. He's got it. Brown down to the 32-yard line. Chuck Paugh makes the stop on Anthony Brown. First down for West Virginia.
West Virginia with a draw play, a great situation to be in. A.B. with his ability to cut back and get up. You notice how he accelerated. He found that little seam and accelerated and spin and moved and got up the field.
That 11-yard pickup by A.B. gives him 106 yards for the game. The 4th time he's gone over 100 this season. And the fullback, Craig Taylor, pops free. Knocked down to the 20-yard line. First down for West Virginia. Darren Sellis makes the stop on Craig Taylor, who's having a great second half.
The tackle was assisted by the official that time. The poor little guy almost got ran over.
Rantis Bell and Jamie Lamont are the receivers on first down and 10. And again, they keep it on the ground. A.B. Brown ahead for a couple. Doug Kokoski makes the stop on Brown. Well, A.B. Brown has not scored a touchdown yet today. Craig Taylor has scored one. Andre Johnson has scored one, and I'm sure A.B. Brown, who's got 108 yards so far, would like to have one as well. Long count by the Major. And they go to Taylor. Here comes Craig Taylor. Touchdown number 2 of the game. A 19-yard touchdown for Craig Taylor. His 8th of the season. And the Mountaineers open up a 34-13 lead.
The big Diesel gets running. He gets that ball north and south. And when he sees that goal line, he saw that blue. Baby, he just turned it on.
A key block thrown on that play by John Stroya as Craig Taylor heads to the bench with his 2nd touchdown of the game. Charlie Bowman's extra point is good. And West Virginia has opened up a 35-13 lead with 13 minutes and 9 seconds to go in the ball game. John, another look at a tremendous effort by West Virginia fullback Craig Taylor. Nice block there by John Stroya.
The offensive line did a great job. When Major Harris reverses out like that, That's awful hard for those middle linebackers to figure out where that ball's going. Then on the cutback, Craig just cut it back to the inside. Hey, when this big guy gets those shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, he's like an old diesel just getting up the road.
66 yards on 12 carries for Craig Taylor, plus a pair of touchdowns. West Virginia has things in control here in the fourth quarter. Charlie Bauman ready to kick it off once again. Wouldn't be surprised here, John, if Bauman squibs the kick. His last kick was a poor one.
He is certainly having some difficulties today.
Vince Hall and Ron Allen are back deep to return. And this will be Hall from the 13-yard line. Hall breaks free, and he is brought down just over the 30. E.J. Wheeler makes the stop for West Virginia. Mountaineer scoring drive just using up 5 plays, 1 minute and 46 seconds. Craig Taylor from 19 yards away. Got a penalty marker down on that play, John. Thrown back at the 29-yard line, way behind the play. Looks as though we're going to have another kickoff here.
Possibly an offsides penalty on the kickoff itself.
That's exactly what it is. So we'll do that again 5 yards deeper. There's Greg Jones, West Virginia's reserve quarterback, warming up along the sideline. Jones saw his most playing time of the season a week ago at the University of Cincinnati as Major Harris was injured. Midway through the third quarter, Jones came in, did a real nice job. He's a transfer from the University of Miami.
Boy, I bet it's really comforting to have a backup quarterback like that who you have confidence in to go in and take control of the game like that, like he did against Cincinnati.
Ron Allen, number 18, talking things over there with Vince Hall, number 36, as Charlie Bauman tees it off from the 30-yard line. There's one of the big stories of the game. West Virginia averaging 6.5 yards on first down plays. Rutgers held to just 1.
Doesn't take a math major to figure out. Only takes 2 of those to get a first down.
Bauman once again. This time it's Ron Allen. He's got a kickoff return for a touchdown here today. This time he is stood up and brought down at the 35-yard line. Just over the 35, that's where Rutgers will take over. E.J. Wheeler again in on the stop. Well, John, defensively now, what are you thinking? Your team is up by a count of 35-13. You know that Rutgers is going to have to pass the football to stay into this game. Rutgers is going to either have to say, yep, we're going to go for it and put the ball into the air, or we're going to concede defeat and just hand it off and kill the clock.
I think we'll see a lot of man coverage by West Virginia and a get after him defense. Coach Shaw's not going to play any type prevent. He's going to go after you.
Well, Ernie is out and a new quarterback is in. His name is Tom Tarver. So let's see if Tarver can do anything differently for Rutgers. Pressure on, and Tarver does not get a warm welcome into the ball game. Jimmy Gray, the nose guard for West Virginia, and Scotty Summits, number 73, make the hit on Tom Tarver.
That's one way to say welcome to the Mountaineer country. But just like we talked about, Tony, this team isn't going to sit back. They're going to go after you. You know, it doesn't matter what the score is or how much time's on the clock.
There's number 98, Jim Gray, redshirted freshman nose guard for West Virginia. He's out of West Mifflin, Pennsylvania. One of the bright stars of the future for the Mountaineers. Loss of 4 on the play, 2nd down and 14. And they go to body. Penalty flags are down. Bo Orlando and Pat Marlette make the stop on body. Flags came down in the Rutgers backfield. It will go against the Knights. Illegal procedure is the call. I'm sorry, I'm taking this man's job away from him.
that time, Tony, Rutgers put the formation into the boundary. West Virginia was in a man coverage, so Bo was lined up into the boundary. And then he just really laid the wood to him that time. He sat in there in that draw, made a big play. I tell you, that has to be a nominee for the defensive champion.
3rd down and 12. The Knights have struggled on 3rd down here today. 3 of 10 in 3rd down conversions. Tarver looking for his first pass completion. Turnbull is after it, and Turnbull has got him. Chalk up another sack for Ronaldo Turnbull. His 13th of the season, his 2nd of the ball game. And West Virginia has held off the Rutgers Scarlet Knights once again.
Again, West Virginia in a man coverage. Ronaldo just beating that guy away like a rag doll. A great job. He's an awful big guy to try to block.
O'Connell is on to punt once again. Averaging 39 yards a punt this afternoon. Brandis Bell back waiting for the return. This is a real nice high spiraling kick by O'Connell, and Bell from the 19-yard line looks for room and loses his own footing. Penalty marker comes down on the play.
Looks like most definitely a clip against West Virginia.
We've got a penalty marker back down near the return and a penalty marker upfield where the ball was kicked. So we'll have 2 penalties on the play. 10 minutes and 54 seconds to go. And the officials sorting things out as Craig Taylor talks things over on the sideline.
We saw a few ex-Mountaineers here in New Jersey, Tony. Last night we spent some time with old Mountaineer Jim Merritt's defensive lineman for West Virginia.
A pair of penalties go against the Mountaineers. Initial spot of the ball on the 22-yard line. And they'll march it off here.
And right there was our clip, number 23, Darren Fulton, just getting his head across a little bit.
And add to that a face mask. So Greg Jones is coming into the game for the Mountaineers, and he will not have the great field position that Major Harris has been working with all afternoon. They're going to have a repunt. And they'll do it all over again. On the face mask, that's a 15-yarder and a first down. And so Rutgers will really benefit from the double penalties. So the Mountaineer defense will have to come back onto the field. They'll spot the ball up on the 48-yard line. Automatic first down on that 15-yard penalty. Don Nealon pleads his case, but to no avail. Rutgers retakes the football. And it's Mike Body on first down. Ahead for a couple of yards on the play. Pat Marlette in at one of the tackle positions makes the stop on Body. Number 31, Mike Body. Converted tailback. Had started his career as a tailback here at Rutgers. Moved over to fullback in the spring. 74 yards, leading ground gainer for the Knights here today.
Doesn't have that great speed, but he's a good inside tackle-to-tackle runner.
Second down, Tom Tarver looks for his first pass completion. Nice throw over there to Eric Young, but he could not hold on.
Again,
fifth drop of the game, John, by the Knights.
I think, again, great job by Ronaldo Turnbull. I mean, they just can't block this guy. He just sheds them all away, and he's coming off the field now. Looks like he has a little bit of a stinger.
Give you an idea of what kind of an afternoon it's been for Rutgers. Their leading receiver, Eric Young, who comes into the game with 41 catches, has only 1 catch this afternoon. Their leading receiver today is their tailback, Mike Body. So you can see it hasn't been a good afternoon for Rutgers. Here comes the pressure by West Virginia. Orlando can't get a hold of Tarver. Herring will take a try, and he's got him. The Mountaineers are coming with everything now. A 5-yard loss on the play. Tarver dragged down.
Again, Bob Shaw holding back, no stops. I mean, he's going to come after you all the way to the bitter end with a strong safety game by Bo Orlando and forcing that thing to bump wide. And a great job by Chris Herring.
5th sack of the afternoon by the Mountaineers as Rutgers takes a timeout. 9 minutes and 48 seconds to go here in the ball game. West Virginia leading at 35-13. It will be 4th down and 10 facing the Scarlet Knights. And we'll be back with the final few minutes of today's game coming right up. In West Virginia was waiting for it. Scarlet Knights looking for a bit of a trick. Tried the fake punt. Penalty flag comes back down on Rutgers, and that'll backfire on them. West Virginia will decline the penalty and take over the football. Darren Sellis, normally a cornerback for Rutgers, tried to run the ball on the 4th down fake punt. Well, now we've got a penalty against West Virginia. 12 players on the field for the Mountaineers. And this game has become absolutely sloppy with a capital S. So discount the fake punt by Rutgers. They will get a chance to punt as those two penalties, procedure against Rutgers and too many men on the field by West Virginia, offset one another. West Virginia is looking for the fake again. They do not have anyone back to return with the exception of the official, Gene Sterator. And they will punt it away. Takes a West Virginia hop, and they should down the football right at the 17-yard line. That's where West Virginia and quarterback Greg Jones will take over.
You know, Tony, it seems kind of silly not to put anybody back there, but really it's pretty smart. I mean, why even put somebody back there to touch the ball and fumble it and have that guy up on the line of scrimmage in case a fake happens?
35 yards on that punt by Matt O'Connell, and here comes Greg Jones. 333 yards in passing for Greg Jones, sophomore out of Miami, Florida. A week ago threw a touchdown pass in the Cincinnati game to Jamie Lamont. Don't think he'll be doing a whole lot of throwing here. Andre Johnson brings it ahead to the 20-yard line. Pickup of 2, and that'll bring up 2nd down at 8. Glenn Miller makes the stop there on Andre Johnson. 4th carry of the afternoon for Andre. 15 yards. And now Andre Johnson is just 31 yards away from becoming the school's 4th all-time leading rusher.
And what's amazing about that, Tony, is he's been a backup the majority of the time. And to close in on that record as a backup is really an achievement.
Mountaineers have their 2nd string offensive line in as Rico Tyler spins ahead for a couple more. Doug Kokowski, inside linebacker, number 79, coming over to make the stop. On the 4-yard pickup, that'll bring up 3rd down and 4. Reggie Rembert and Calvin Phillips come out. Jamie Lamont and Grannis Bell are the receivers. West Virginia 7 for 11 in 3rd down conversions. Here's Jones with a chance to pass. Fires a rocket over to Jamie Lamont. Out near sideline looking for an interference call, but no flag is down on the play as the official rules that the ball was uncatchable.
Notice the difference between Greg Jones and Major Harris. I mean, Major, he would have took off like right up that field when he saw that big seam. Greg, he's going to sit in that pocket and look for that receiver.
Let's carry on. Standing back at the Mountaineer 9-yard line. Ball bounces off of Basil Proctor, hits him off the shoulder, and they'll mark it back near midfield.
I'd say that's using your head.
Not really. Maybe you should have been looking for the football. So Rutgers will start it off inside West Virginia territory from the 48-yard line. That's where it will be, first down and 10. If you're wondering where West Virginia, John, is headed for a postseason bowl, we just glance over to the booth next door to ours, and we see the executive director of the Fiesta Bowl, Bruce Skinner, and the president of the team selection committee, Phil Mata, in the booth, along with West Virginia athletic director Fred Schaus and several other members of the support staff for the Mountaineers. So provided the Mountaineers win here, it looks as though West Virginia will be headed to the Fiesta Bowl. Tarver going for it. Oh, he's got Randy Jackson, and Jackson is dragged down at the 4-yard line. Preston Waters on the coverage. Randy Jackson makes the grab, a 44-yard pickup for the Scarlet Knights.
This is a pretty nice throw by Tom Tarver. Really puts a nice zip on the ball. A breakdown in the West Virginia coverage there.
Darrell Whitmore comes out of the game. Jim Gray comes in for the Mountaineers. West Virginia will go into their goal line defense. Andre Yates in the backfield. First and goal. Here comes Tarver, and they've been waiting for him. Pat Marlette makes the stop. Flag on the play, and we're going to get a face mask against West Virginia. So the great defensive play there by Marlette and Bo Orlando will get called back on a face mask. Let's see if we can pick it up here. Yep, right off the bat. Big old Pat Marlette got so excited there, John, that he said, I got to get a hold of something. I don't want you to get away.
He about tore his head off on that. Well, Pat's a big old guy now. Fought a 450-pound bench presser as a backup.
Weighs 280 pounds at 6 feet 5 inches tall. So on the penalty, they bring it half the distance, and that's to the 2-yard line. First down and goal. And Rutgers will take a timeout with 7 minutes and 37 seconds to go here in the ball game. Rutgers seemingly on their way for a touchdown. They trail in this one by a score of 35-13. You were talking about several of the former Mountaineers in to watch this game, John. We saw Matt Smith, one of the great linebackers in West Virginia history, during halftime. Several other players here to watch today.
Last night we spent some time with Jim Merritt, a former defensive lineman during the Gator Bowl and Blue Bonnet Bowl years, Peach Bowl. He presently is working as a safety engineer for the Transit Authority up in Queens.
Take a look at the total yardage. West Virginia has racked up 435 yards of offense here today. They come into the game averaging 495, 194 yards gained by the Rutgers attack. West Virginia has been allowing 283 yards per game, so the Mountaineer defense playing better than their average. Here we go once again. And they'll go to Body. Body looks to get it in, and he does. Mike Body picks up his 5th touchdown of the season, and Rutgers has their first touchdown of the second half, drawing within 16 points of the Mountaineers with 7:33 to go.
Let me ask you a question, Tony. You're the head coach, and you took your first team out. Now the Mountaineers Rutgers are again down by 16 with plenty of time, 7 minutes and 30 seconds. What do you do?
Well, based upon what I'm seeing down below, Major Harris has got a big stocking cap on his head, just kind of walking around there talking with the guys. I'd be surprised if Major comes back in, but you never know.
I think what you do is you're exactly right. You'll rely on your defense to pull you through and shut down Rutgers.
And the Knights going for the two-point conversion. Tarver in trouble, and he will be denied of that goal line. The Mountaineers snuff off Rutgers' two-point conversion attempt, and the score will hold at 35-19 with 7 minutes and 33 seconds to go here in the ball game. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Head coach Don Nealon, his club on their way to their 10th consecutive victory, leading at 35-19 with 7 minutes and 33 seconds to go here at Giant Stadium. Eugene Napoleon backstepping, awaiting the kickoff from Doug Giesler. Mountaineers expecting the squib kick, and they have brought both lines of their kickoff return inside the 50-yard line on both sides. So the Mountaineers expecting the squib kick, and here it comes. It's loose, out of bounds, and it did not go the necessary yardage, I don't believe, or they're going to give it over to West Virginia.
That ball has to go 10 yards before that kickoff team can touch it, Tony.
It did, and it's West Virginia's football. Take a look at the Knights scoring drive. 2 plays, 48 yards as Mike Body runs it in from 2 yards away. And great field position here for the Mountaineers. Spotted on the 46.5-yard line. Greg Jones is the quarterback for the Mountaineers. This is his second series. Fullback brings it ahead for a couple yards on the play. West Virginia will be content to kill off the clock here. Eugene Napoleon, Jersey City, New Jersey native, comes into the huddle for West Virginia as Under Johnson goes out. And there's number 29, Rico Tyler. So the Mountaineers have a reserve unit in at quarterback and the tailback and fullback position. 2nd down and 7. Here comes Eugene Napoleon looking to turn the corner. Napoleon over the 45-yard line, down to the 44. We've got an injured Knight on the play. George Bankos holding on to his knee out over the 40-yard line. Been a tough afternoon for Rutgers, John, as far as the injuries go. It's a tough afternoon there for Reggie Rembert. Had a touchdown catch of 48 yards, and he's taken the shoulder pads off for the afternoon. They've got him iced up with a bandage going up top of the neck. Looks to be in some pain over there.
Well, I hope that's not too serious. He's a very important part of this offense.
Trainer's taking a look over there at George Bankos. He's a native of Whitehall, Pennsylvania. He played high school football with the 2 Parker brothers on the West Virginia team, Scott Parker and Chris Parker. And he seems to be okay. Mountaineers will be facing a 3rd down and 6 as we get ready to bring the ball back into play. Mountaineers with their number 1 offensive line out there, with the exception of the center, Kevin Koken. And Greg Jones will take up a timeout. 6 minutes and 54 seconds to go here in the ball game. It's been a very slow and at times sloppy second half of action. Executive producer of the Mountaineer Sports Network is Mike Parsons. Today's game produced by Nick Smith. The associate producer is Alan Hercules, and the director is Doug Gist. Sorry to say, but this is our final delayed broadcast of the 1988 season. West Virginia will be on national television a week from today as they take on the Syracuse Orangemen on ESPN. And then it's on to the bowl game for the Mountaineers, and they'll be picked up by one of the networks in that one as well. And the way things are looking right now, West Virginia will be headed to the Fiesta Bowl.
I'd just like to say, Tony, I've certainly enjoyed working with you this year, and everybody at MSN here has been absolutely fabulous.
A lot of fun. A lot of fun. It's been the same here. Here's a look at Greg Jones on 3rd down. He's got his man wide open, but overthrows Calvin Phillips. Wide open was Phillips. And West Virginia will be forced to punt. Jones would definitely like to have that one back again. way the defense is playing, Jones will have another chance here today. Next week's opponent, the Syracuse Orangemen, will come into Morgantown with an 8-1 record. Syracuse defeating Boston College 45-20 this weekend. Carry on, averaging just 32 yards a punt.
Mountaineer Field will be rocking Saturday night, I guarantee it.
Sure will. A year ago, it was West Virginia that tried to spoil Syracuse's undefeated season. And a year later, it will be Syracuse that will try to spoil the perfect season for West Virginia.
And this week, we're going to win with class against Syracuse also. May add that.
And obviously referring to the crowd coming out of the field.
Right.
Tom Tarver in at quarterback for Rutgers. Scott Ernie had a very poor afternoon. He was yanked out, going 5 of 19. And here comes a reverse play. This is Brett Snyder for Rutgers. Read fairly well by the West Virginia defense as Snyder picks up a yard on the play. THERON Ellis making the stop there on Brett Snyder.
THERON wasn't fooled one bit by all the jitter-jatter that was going on there with the flanker and the halfback and everything else. He just hung right in there at the top of your screen. A real good read, and he makes the play. Notice how he pushed that man down when he was going to attack his legs and keep him away from his legs. That was a good job using his hands.
Here's Tarver dumping it out to Andre Yates and Bo Orlando, and Chris Herring there to bring him down at the 25-yard line. They'll be a yard short of the first down, and that'll bring up a third down play for Rutgers. Another look at Tom Tarver's pass over to Andre Yates coming out of the backfield.
Chris Herring, just a coach's dream for a middle linebacker. I mean, he's intelligent, he has a great work ethic, he's big, he's strong, he's quick, he gets to the football. And like we said early in the season, I think he's the best middle linebacker to play at West Virginia in quite some time.
On third down and 1, they go to Vance Hall. He is stopped. Back at the 25-yard line, they will blow the play dead as Vince Hall was met there right at the line of scrimmage, and it looks as though West Virginia has held. Officials will call a timeout. 5:45 to go. Whether they made it or not, John, I'm sure they'll be going for it on fourth down.
I saw Daryl Whitmore giggling there after that play. This is where they really have some fun at the end of the game like this.
Well, the Mountaineers looked as though they had him, but a good spot on the play, and Rutgers has a first down. West Virginia 35 and Rutgers 19. Tyrone McQueen and Brett Snyder lining up as receivers to the right. Randy Jackson and Eric Young, double receivers up top. And Tarver on first down. Fires downfield, nearly intercepted by THERON Ellis, who's already got one pickoff here today. Looking there for Eric Young. And THERON Ellis almost had the interception.
You know, we just talked about Chris Herring. Here's another middle linebacker that's doing a heck of a job, particularly in man coverage. I mean, he's able to cover those running backs running down the field and those wide receivers.
Lockwood made an effort for it. Ellis made an effort for it. Preston Waters back there as well. Second down and 10. Single man to the backfield for Rutgers. Here comes the pressure. And it's Tyrone McQueen making the completion. Alvoid Mays on the coverage.
The thing that's amazing about THERON Ellis is he wasn't even a starter at middle linebacker coming into the season in the summer ball. And he's made that adjustment. And he's been a real big asset in there and really solidified that middle linebacker spot. Freshman linebacker Steve Grant goes into the game for West Virginia, along with
Jimmy Gray and Pat Marlette on 3rd down and 2. Carver on the roll. Overthrows Brett Snyder, and that'll bring up 4th down. Elvoyd Mays back on the coverage. 4 minutes and 34 seconds to go in the ball game. 4 minutes and 34 seconds away from a 10-0 record for West Virginia for the first time in school history. Rutgers will go for it on 4th down and 2.
I mean, that is some amazing achievement, Tony. 10-0. All the things that can happen throughout a football season, that's quite an accomplishment.
Rutgers is dropped back. Tarver at the 25-yard line. Chris Parker got him. The 6th sack of the afternoon as Chris Parker takes down Tom Tarver, and West Virginia will take the football over at the 25-yard line. Take another look.
Did you notice Chris Parker? He used a rip move where he rips that inside arm through that offensive blocker. That's a technique that a defensive coach Desmond Robinson teaches them, to rip through that thing and get up the field.
Well, let's see if the Mountaineers can put any more on the board here. From the 25, they go to Eugene Napoleon. He slices ahead for a couple. Timmy Lester, number 98, makes the stop on Eugene Napoleon, who lives just about 5 to 10 minutes away from Giant Stadium. He'll be back again next season for the Mountaineers.
He'll definitely be the front runner for that tailback slot next year. He's been a real hard worker and has been accepted his role as a 3rd-team tailback, and it's pretty hard to swallow.
Charlie Fedorko in motion, and on the toss, Napoleon's got blockers. Eugene Napoleon with a penalty flag coming down on the play, is chased out at the 16-yard line. Rico Tyler throwing a good block on the play to break Eugene free, but we're going to have a holding call against West Virginia. Penalty number 8 against the Mountaineers as Dick Anderson looks on. His team about to lose their 4th game of the season. Mountaineer offensive line showing Jack Lynn at 1 tackle, Milton Redwine at the other. Double tight end formation. 2nd down and 16. And Jones with an opportunity to show us that arm once again. Has the tight end, Adrian Moss, but he cannot hold on. That'll bring up 3rd down and long. Mike Bouchard on the coverage as Greg Jones really shows his rifle there again, John.
Boy, he threw that pill that time. I mean, that thing was like a needle. He almost stuck it right in his chest.
Boom. Adrian Moss, who had just a tremendous afternoon against East Carolina this season, where he made 5 catches, one of them going for a touchdown. Had a catch a week ago against the University of Cincinnati. So on 3rd down and 16, West Virginia sets a single man to the backfield, double receivers up top. And they go with the draw play to Rico Tyler. Good job by the Rutgers defense. They're there waiting as Mike Bouchard trips up Rico Tyler. And Tyler's shaken on the play. He'll limp off of the field. Clock winding down here, John.
Not only these guys 10-0, Tony, but they're a real class outfit. I mean, when they travel, they're all suit and ties. They do a number of things through Children's Hospital. And those are the little things that make you the great teams. Mountaineers
going forward on 4th down and 12. Jones is in trouble. Intends it over there for Grannis Bell, incomplete, and Rutgers will take over on downs with 3 minutes and 3 seconds to go. Final away game for West Virginia in the regular season. As mentioned, they'll be taking on Syracuse next weekend at the sold-out Mountaineer Field. Fans beginning to file out. We had a good supply of blue and gold here at the Meadowlands this afternoon. Tom Tarver looking to unleash. Dump pass out to Vance Hall, and Hall is down as the knee touches down back at the 23-yard line. Andre Yates, should say.
I wouldn't be surprised this week, Tony, if Don Nealon had his team practice at night all week to get them acclimated to the lights, because it is a difference when that ball's up in those lights and it's dark out. Sometimes it's difficult to catch and get adjusted, so he'll probably be practicing all week under the lights.
Loss of 4 on that play. It's 2nd down and 14. Coming up on the 2-minute mark of the ball game. Tarver has his tight end, Scott Blanche. And Blanche dragged down by Teddy Kester at the 35-yard line.
Being a Syracuse graduate, Tony, where is your heart going to be next week?
In my chest.
And keep your mouth shut, right?
No, in all honesty, I've been in West Virginia longer than I was at Syracuse.
All right.
And so through time, alma mater or not, one's loyalties change.
That's not what you said in the hotel room last night.
Oh, you're going to try to get me in trouble. There's a completion up top. That's a 1st down for the Scarlet Knights as Eric Young makes his 2nd catch of the afternoon. Steve Grant on the coverage for the Mountaineers.
We did have a lot of fun in the hotel room last night with Jack Fleming and his guest and us, and arguing over that wing tee and slot, and they enjoyed that.
We have to explain that. We were watching videotapes of old Rutgers games, and we would pause it on formations and say, Jack, what is this? And Jack would say, well, this is that. And then we'd have Garcia's opinion. And it led to many hours of discussion and philosophy of football. On 1st down, wide open for the catch. It's Brett Snyder. And the Knights bring the ball down to the 24-yard line. Clock continues to wind down. 1 minute and 13 seconds to go. A wide open Brett Snyder and a missed coverage there by the Mountaineers. I'm sure West Virginia wants to stop Rutgers here. Despite the game's outcome being determined, the pride of the defense, I'm sure, would like to hold Rutgers under 19 points, or at least at 19 points. Procedure penalty against Rutgers, and that will bring the Knights back 5 yards on the play.
This Tom Tarver has looked pretty good since he's been in here. He can really whiz that ball down the field.
Mountaineers bringing in some of their front liners now. Chris Parker, Mike Fox, Robert Pickett all checking in. Here's Tarver, pressure on, he is hit. He's got his man McQueen, and now it's McQueen and Darryl Whitmore. And Whitmore drags him down, and a penalty marker comes down on the play. They'll call a face mask against Darryl Whitmore. Whitmore going up high to drag down Tyrone McQueen, and the official, Gene Steratore, says there was contact with the face mask. Take another one.
Face mask penalty.
You don't see it on that one. Had the hand on the back of the helmet, but there was no contact with the face mask.
I think a lot of Mountaineer fans will recognize old Gene, one of the officials there. Did you say he was a basketball official, Tony?
Yeah, I'll say it. Well, he's a retired basketball official. Ball spotted on the 3-yard line. Rutgers looking for some points of pride as Tarver rolls out. Dump pass. And it's a touchdown for the Scarlet Knights. Vince Hall making the touchdown grab. (35-26) is our score with 35 seconds to go. Did he get in there? A 9-point game, and Rutgers will try to make it a 7-point deficit. They're 0 for 1 on 2-point conversions today. Tarver has got his man. Flag is down as the pass goes incomplete. James Cann was the intended receiver. And the marker comes down in the end zone. A holding call against the Mountaineers, and Rutgers will have another crack at it.
It seems in this fourth quarter, Rutgers has just lawed the West Virginia defense to sleep. Those little 10 and 15-yard passes.
They've hung in there all game long. So they'll bring the ball in half the distance, and they'll try it again. A 2-point conversion. Tarver again. Plenty of time. And he's got his man, but it's incomplete. Intended it for Brett Snyder. Off of his hands. The 2-point conversion is no good, and the score holds with 35 seconds to go.
A straight drop back pass, and notice the receiver crossing over the middle just got the finger on it. Nice job by the West Virginia secondary.
35-25, that's the score.
No question that West Virginia can't anticipate an onside kick here. West Virginia will put in their hands team, as it's called. All the receivers up front will line up front.
Elvoyd Mays, Charlie Fedorko, Jamie Lamont, A.B. Brown, Darrell Whitmore, Preston Waters, David Lockwood, Keith Wynn. They're all out there for West Virginia. And they're awaiting the squib kick attempt. This is the closest game West Virginia has been in all season long. Although in all actuality, the game was a much wider margin of victory. The scoreboard shows that it's just a 10-pointer. Ball is loose. Calvin Phillips knocks it out of bounds, and West Virginia has the football back at the 35-yard line with 33 seconds to go.
That's kind of a strange onside kick that time. You notice the kicker kicked the ball to the right, and there was only one Rutgers man there that could have made that play. Everybody else ran to the left side. And what they did is try to trick the West Virginia offensive team into thinking where the ball was going to go.
Just a matter of running down the clock here for West Virginia, and they will go to 10-0 on the season. Who would have thought it?
Oh, there was probably about 90 football players that thought they could do it.
Or hope that they could do it.
That's true.
Jones down on one knee. And the clock continues to wind down. Now a timeout taken by Rutgers.
Dick Anderson has really done a good job with the Rutgers program. They've improved their facilities greatly. They've hung in there. They've beat Michigan State, Penn State. They've come a long way. There's quite a bit of Penn State ties on that Rutgers coaching staff. Ed O'Neill, a former All-American and pro player, coaches for him. Big John Ray.
There he is, number 70 for the Mountaineers. Major Harris had another great afternoon for the Mountaineers with 207 yards of total offense. There's a look at the Major, stocking cap and all.
We're going to promote him to general after this one.
Jones again going down on one knee. Rutgers has another timeout if they decide to use it. Clock down, 15 seconds and winding. And Dick Anderson says that's enough for him. The final seconds tick off the clock as Don Nealon heads across the field to shake hands with Rutgers head coach Dick Anderson. And the West Virginia University Mountaineers are 10-0 on the season. A 35-25 victory over the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. We'll be back to wrap.